James White, Boxing Social, in association with Empire Fight Law and R Kings. I'm here with Eddie Hearn. Eddie, missed you yesterday. How are you feeling?
Feeling good. Obviously got back from Sydney, did a big 12-hour media day with Frank Warren at the DAZN HQ, and now up in Altrincham ahead of Pat Brown's debut, next gen card, and excited for the card. Great night of boxing, and the start of something very special with Mr. Brown.
Yeah, we saw all his fans here today. We'll get on to Pat in a second. First, I want to start with Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. That's the big news at the minute. Is there any updates, your thoughts on the situation?
Yeah, no updates really. I believe the two of them spoke. I mean, it sounds wild. At the moment, AJ doesn't have a World Heavyweight Championship. He's not trying to unify, so would he do it? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's a huge money fight. It's a straightforward job. And, you know, Jake Paul likes to create these wild moments, and that would certainly be a wild moment. But, you know, then he threw in 2026 at the end. I wish he'd just do it in 2025 if he wanted to do it. So I don't take it too seriously in that respect right now. Do I think Jake would do it? I think he's mad enough to do it, yeah. So we'll see, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. If it does, great.
Is there any part of you that almost feels a bit reluctant to give Jake that opportunity in a sense?
Not really, because if you have that kind of mindset, you'll always butcher yourself. You know, that's what I say to fighters as well. Don't worry about what they're getting. Worry about what you're getting, and worry about what this opportunity is bringing. Jake Paul could make hundreds of millions for that fight. Good luck to him. People say, yeah, don't do it because you're giving him the opportunity to do it. He's fine. Let him have it because we're having what we're having. Thank you very much. Bosh, 1 round knockout. See you later. Raided the bank, and that's what would happen in that fight. So, yeah, if he's wild enough to do it, never say never.
And on AJ, I heard you on TalkSport talk about Tyson Fury #1, Daniel Dubois #2. With Tyson Fury, do you know if there's been any conversation between Frank and him about it?
No, I don't believe so. And you know, Frank's made it clear he's not going to phone up Tyson and try and convince him to take the fight. It will be on Tyson, and I do believe that moment will come. Will it come in time for the next fight? Maybe not. But I believe Tyson Fury will be back. But it's only him that's going to get up off the sofa and go, "Fuck it, let's do it." You know, and I think he's that kind of guy.
And moving on to Shakur Stevenson, it looks like the Davis-Roach rematch is on. Where does that leave Shakur?
I mean, he's due to fight the winner of Zepeda Farmer, and that's what the WBC have ordered. You know, he did damage his hand slightly in the Josh Padley fight. Maybe even waits till September, October to fight Tank. You know, but we hope that Zepeda and obviously Golden Boy and Riyadh Season will keep their word of that fight. Shakur against Zepeda, he's got to come through Farmer. But that's the plan at the moment. Things can change, but that's what we're looking at.
Kambosos as well, little cut, playing devil's advocate. If he isn't ready for the Hitchins fight, could we see Jack Catterall?
Yeah, I mean, Jack's coming off a defeat, which is difficult with the IBF. But Kambosos, the cut was glued. We're definitely still targeting him for Richardson Hitchins' homecoming fight. We've still got to negotiate the deal, which we're doing at the moment with Lou DiBella. If George wants it, which I know he does, he can have it, and hopefully we can all agree a deal and move forward with the fight. I think it's a great fight, be a great build-up. We had a great time in Sydney, and you know, George was exciting in that fight. Good to brush the cobwebs away of the Lomachenko defeat and have his first fight at 140, and he's ready to try and become a 2-division world champion against, my opinion, the best 140 in the world right now in Richardson Hitchins.
You mentioned Sydney there. It was a disappointing night for Skye Nicolson. Have you spoke to her, and are we going to get the rematch?
Of course. I mean, look, I think the build-up was brilliant. You know, Tiara Brown and Skye did a great job to really build up that rivalry. I thought it was a very close fight. I actually thought that the Australian judge, Phil Austin, scored it 97-93, but it was the American judge. So I spoke to him, and I apologised for that, but I thought his scorecard was bizarre because the last 5 rounds he gave to Tiara Brown, and the 2 judges gave 8 and 9 to Skye, and I thought she won those rounds quite comfortably. But it was a fight that could have gone either way. 6-4 either way, you can't complain. I don't think she performed anywhere near her best, but you've got to give the credit to Tiara Brown. It's her night. She's the new world champion. And I think with those two, I think you've got a really good chance at creating a decent rivalry there. If you look at, like, obviously on a high level, Taylor Serrano, but even Michaela against Sandy this week, there's nothing really in those lower weight classes like Brown against Nicholson. So we'll definitely look forward to a rematch, whether that's next or see him have interim bouts, we'll see. But disappointing night, but I'm sure she'll be back.
Yeah, the 5v5 as well. I heard you say he sent 10 fights off. Is there any update on that, and can you give us any hints?
It's a hell of a list we sent off to His Excellency. I mean, he asked for 5v5, but we did send him, I think, nearly 10 fights for it. A lot of which you can imagine, some wild cards out there which we won't announce, but we'll just let His Excellency choose as he does which ones he wants to do, and we're targeting that for the end of the summer. The first 5v5 was incredibly successful, the numbers were fantastic on it, and I think the next edition will be even better, especially if we can get a bloody point.
Pat Brown, that's what we're here for today. He's got some support behind him. He's going to be a real star.
Yeah, listen, it's reminiscent of the wild and freakish support of the Ricky Hatton early days, Josh Warrington, Johnny Fisher. Even now, like anyone that does about 1,500 tickets on his debut for a 6th round, you just don't see it. But this isn't just a popular kid. This is a kid that can really fight, who's very exciting, very heavy-handed, and you'll see tomorrow. It's actually a great card tomorrow. Jordan Flynn against Cameron Vaughn, great fight. Farnell against Dickinson, great fight. Step up for Will Crawler. Taylor Bevan, Connor Tudsbury's in a tough fight, and you'll see the atmosphere. It will be absolutely wild in there tomorrow night, and start of a very, very important journey of someone that I believe can be the next big star of British boxing in Pat Brown.
Does that make your job quite difficult, the fact that he could be this big star, to make sure the matchmaking's correct? You don't want to rush him?
Yeah, but at the same time, when you've got that much support, they don't want to just watch you bowl over some numpty. And that's why we've actually selected a good fight for him, a tough Argentinian. And we saw one tough Argentinian in Palacios against Katiev in Sydney. I hope he's not as tough as Palacios, but this is a guy who's capable. He'll stand up, and anyone's dangerous in that cruiserweight division. But you've got to match him right, that of a debutant, but also acknowledging the amateur pedigree that he's got as well, and also acknowledging the amount of tickets he sold. People have paid their money. And it's all right bowling over one or two on your first, but then after a while, they're going to want to see you step up. And when this kid's fighting for British titles, he's going to fill up the Co-op Arena or Manchester Arena. So we've got to get it right, and I think you'll be very impressed tomorrow.
And just finally, there's been a lot of talk, boxing's broken, boxing's this and boxing's that. You don't believe boxing's broken. If there's one thing you could change about the sport, what would it be?
How can boxing be broken when it's the greatest period we've ever had? I mean, more broadcasters want to get involved in boxing, more people want to put money into boxing, more people are buying tickets than ever, more people are watching on TV than ever. It's in a great place. If I could change one thing, I wouldn't change anything, because it's boxing, right? And it's like, it frustrates the life out of you, but one belt is not the answer, because fighters want to win world championships, and trust me, if you have one belt, fighters won't get chances. If you're a world champion and there's this young fighter coming through that maybe don't have the commercial value to give you the big payday, you avoid him. Doesn't matter what structure's in place, So the 4 belts, they have prestige, they have legacy, and it allows people to become world champions. So, as I said, Frank Warren didn't agree with me on this. I said you can never control boxing, because boxing's out of control, and that's the beauty of it.
Eddie Hearn, appreciate your time.
Cheers.
Thank you.